Hi guys, it's Ava. So today I'm talking about self-knowledge being like high-tech instrumentation, and I'm going to be using some pretty low-tech stuff to talk about it again. A lot of times we think about knowing ourselves, our emotional mind-body well-being as being, a good thing to do, but it isn't necessarily the priority. And my argument for using self-knowledge, belief DNA as the basis for governance redesign, I'm going to illustrate why this is the case. So in this case, I've got an affinity group. Let's say it's a gingerbread family, it's a business. And let's say that this group values the production of high fashion. As long as people in this group are generating ideas that relate to the value set that this group is gathered around, is organized around, then this individual is going to have a life experience that is fulfilling. So I've got an idea, and let's say instead of maybe a design for this or this, I've got an idea about packaging. So it's not exactly the same, but it relates. The question is, what happens when you get an idea that doesn't relate? Typically, what happens is this idea is discarded, or this person could be perceived as being different than the others if they insist that this is a really good idea, or this person could internalize it, saying, I'm not worthwhile. My ideas are not worthwhile because my ideas don't look like this, right? The reason why it's important for us to own our digital identities is there are two reasons for that. Let's take a look at the way our narratives work. So in this case, we've got a very specific narrative. This group likes or values these kind of ideas. But we are not generally like this. This is what we actually look like. And this was the kind of stuff that I was actually exploring when I was working on these drawings. I was thinking about all of our social profiles. So in this case, I've got this little train. So I might have some part of me that's like an engineer. And in this case, I've got this flower. This may be the profile that I use when I'm engaged with a certain Facebook group, or this profile is the one that I currently use professionally. But this is actually a much more accurate picture of who we are as human beings. I'm going to take this drawing away, but just to show you the relationship between these things, these indicate different points where someone says, oh, that's valuable, that's valuable, that's valuable. And this is actually the first drawing where I wrote that word sanctuary, of why this is important. So here we are going through life thinking that we're misfits because this is what our idea looks like. So when we start to unpack this stuff, these narratives, we realize that we have a lot more that's available to us than a lot of times the world is asking us to express. If you think about, our natures as being, we talk about kids, molding children's personalities. So here's my cookie dough. If in sanctuary we're doing things to keep that dough really flexible, I can do a lot of things with it. I can create a lot of different shapes if I'm working with something that's malleable. If it's cold, if we don't practice, if we don't develop our malleability, so to speak, through practice, and we try to stretch into a new field or a new idea, I'm not going to be able to get anywhere. The dough or the essence of who I am isn't flexible enough to express a lot of stuff. When I'm flexible through practice, and those practices can be a lot of different things. I've talked about flow time a lot. For some people, that's going to be sports. For some people, that's going to be music. But whatever it is that kind of gets you in the zone where you lose track of time, that's the stuff that makes you flexible. So now suddenly I can go from this to something that I can work with. So I'm back to this idea. Instead of just cranking out one after the other of these same ideas that have already been valued by this particular group, and I'm feeling like a misfit because my ideas aren't valued. What we're going to be able to see with Belief DNA and Belief Dashboard are two things. There's going to be two different kinds of things, and I'm calling one inbound and one outbound, or like a pushing and a pulling. There are a couple of different experiences that we have. One of those experiences is like our fella here, who has this idea, and this is kind of his calling, right? This is an inbound. So his soul searching indicates that this is this idea that I'd like to manifest, but I don't really know how to connect with other people. I don't even know that this is valuable, right? Here's our ability to do this, right? Once we have different options. Let's say you're the other guy, and my other guy, instead of feeling self-doubt because he's got an idea that doesn't fit, this guy's feeling restless. This guy is like, I don't even know. Like, maybe I'm just out of school. Maybe I'm in a job that I don't really like. I don't really know what kind of experiences would be interesting to help me grow. Well, what happens a lot of times when we don't have that direction, when we don't really tap into the potential of everything that we're capable of doing, we do stupid stuff. So we feel unhappy, we feel like there's something missing in our lives, but we don't know what. We lack the high-tech information that'll help get us there. But lo and behold, if we look at this guy's profile, look what we've got. There's a star right there. So this individual has one problem, has a calling and can't connect. This individual is restless, who doesn't even know that this guy has an experience that he would absolutely love. So the point with this is that the narratives that we create are very powerful. And they're one way of looking at the world, right? I'm Mr. Entrepreneur, Star Maker Entrepreneur. I finally connected with somebody who gets me, who understands. I've got the resources available, and now I'm making something totally beautiful. But the innovation piece is that this guy wouldn't have even known that this experience would have made him completely happy, that this experience would have been a whole new thing. So it is both the narrative that's important. I want to create something and I want to connect, but it's also the reverse. I don't even know what I'm looking for, but because we own our digital information, and from that we have Belief ID, Belief DNA, we have these the moral compass and the wayfinder. This is a wayfinder experience. I didn't even know what was possible. And now I can find an experience that maybe I don't even have experience in. I don't know anything about cooking, or I don't know anything about working on a submarine, or I don't know anything. But because the code is there, it's going to recognize patterns apart from the storylines that we tell, apart from existing storylines of value. So that doesn't in any way threaten these guys. These guys are going to continue to make their high fashion. They're going to continue to have an affinity group. But these guys are going to create a whole new thing based upon the technology recognizing not a narrative about what's valuable, but just the form. This form and this form matches up, so these people are going to find each other and create whole new experiences. And that is the major argument for owning our digital information, so that we can create new opportunities, new kinds of governance, new kinds of everything. So that's my sanctuary offering for the day. Peace. Have a great week.